to make a long story short, I learned the Smoky Mountains. I learned everything I could about them. I learned everything from top to bottom that I could. And I also learned from some mistakes I made back then. And the first story I want to tell you is one of those mistakes. And it happened, it was the first time I went hunting. The first time I went, and I went by myself in the wild wilderness with all the wild animals, and I was only 6, 7 years old. And I went out there, and what was I thinking? Well, here's what got me started. My father, he was an old trapper and hunter. And in the wintertime, when he didn't go hunting, we'd sit around the fireplace, and he would tell about all the adventures that he had had. Him and his dogs, trail and troop, hunting in the Smoky Mountains. And so from hearing those stories that he told, and also from seeing the skins that he brought in. I mean, he brought in skins of all sizes, of all kinds of animals. Seeing all of that, it just stirred my imagination. And so I thought to myself, well, I'll just go out in the wilderness and I'll do some hunting. And I'll get me a bunch of animals and show Father what a good hunter I am. So one evening, I slipped out the back door of the cabin, and I went out to the 2 dogs, Trail and Troop, mighty fine dogs. They were sleeping. And I said, Trail, Troop. And they opened up their eyes, but then they closed them right back down. They wasn't too interested. And I said, Trail, Troop, I've got something here that I think you're going to like. And I'll give it to you. I'll give you 2 a piece at a time. If you'll follow me to the wild woods and let's do some hunting. And it's cornbread. Now, cornbread was called by the mountain people corn pone, and they usually bake it in the oven or in the fireplace, and they usually do 2 pones of the pones at a time. So I had one of them, and when I held that up, those dogs, they perked up, they got up off the floor where they was, and they started wagging their tails, and they started licking their lips. So I said, let's go hunting. So off we went to the wild woods to do my very first hunt. Well, soon we reached the tall timbers. And soon, those dogs, oh, they were onto something. They were chasing something. So they went way ahead of me. And then off in the distance, I could hear them barking. So I know that they had treed something. So I followed the sound of the barking, and I got to where they were. And they had treed something under some rocks. And I thought, oh boy, those dogs, are they going to go in there and they're going to scratch out that animal and kill it? And that'll be my first skin. Wow. But then as I looked around, all too soon, dark was coming on. And I was like, oh my, and the chill was coming in the air. And all the sounds around me from the woods, they were scary sounding. And I started thinking, well, I don't know where I am. I think I'm maybe 3-4 miles from home, but I don't know what direction to go to get back home. And nobody knows where I am. And oh, my Father, I wonder what he'll think when he finds out that Wiley is not there. And I began to cry in tears, thinking about it. And I thought, well, I'm going to have to stay here, right here. So I found me a nice flat rock, and I got up on that flat rock, and I called the dog, Trail and Troop, come over here. So Trail and Troop came over, and I put my arms around these 2 dogs, these good old hunting dogs. There was a mystery about these 2 dogs. They seemed to know that I was lost. And not only was I lost, but I was frightened of anything out there in the wild woods, because there was lots of wild animals out there that could just take my life. But these 2 dogs, they was taking good care of the boy who was trying to learn to hunt too soon in life. Well, it got darker and darker, and I squeezed even closer to those 2 dogs as it got darker. And finally I fell asleep with my arms around those dogs. And the heat from those dogs, I do believe that kept me from freezing that night. But during the night, all of a sudden, Trailing Troop was gone. They went away from the rock and woke me up. Oh Lord, where's Trailing Troop? Oh no, I'll bet a large animal has scared them off and they've gone. Maybe a bear. Oh, maybe, oh my gosh, maybe some other big animal. So I reached out and I looked out to see if I could see anything big animal out there, but I couldn't even see my hand before my face. It was that dark in there. And the only thing that I could think was, well, maybe this animal is going to come and just kill me and eat me up at any time. But at the same time, I didn't feel no claws in my skin, or I didn't feel no teeth biting into me. But how soon it would be that some animal didn't come and kill me, I didn't know. About that time I heard the dogs barking off in the distance. Trailing Troop. And they was going through the brush and through the leaves and all. I could hear them. And then it got quiet again. Oh no, what's happened to Trailing Troop now? And then I saw a light. Oh, look at there. And then those dogs came running back to where I was, and they jumped all over me and licked me up, and they were so happy to see me, and I was so happy to see them. And that light was getting closer, and it was Harvey, my oldest brother. He had come to rescue me. So he came up, and boy, was I glad to see him. So he lifted me up, and I hugged around his neck, and he walked me back home through the wild woods to the family. And they was glad to see me, and Daddy said, Wiley, it's a wonder that they was able to find you tonight. I sent out several search parties, and they found you tonight. And oh, there's so many things that could have happened to you, Wiley. Don't you never do that again. And I didn't. I never went hunting by myself again for the next 2 or 3 years.